What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Big Boy Fat Shine TV, and tonight I will go over my AEW full gear review and highlights. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, turn on post notification when I premiere a brand new video at 3 o'clock Eastern Time on YouTube. Follow my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, and TikTok, and Twitch, and Discord down below in the description. Now let's talk about AEW full gear. Now AEW full gear was a good show, and I give it an 8 out of 10. All right, November 19th, AEW will deliver a star-stud show with AEW Full Gear. In the main event, John Moxley will defend the AEW World Championship against MJF. All right, so it says the 0 hour. The commentary team welcomes viewers and discuss the main event world title match. And video package hype up John Moxley versus MJF. All right, so first match, we get a 10-man tag team match. The Factory, QT Marshall, Lee Johnson, Aaron Solo, Nick Camarado, and Cole Carter versus Best Friends Orange Cassidy, Trent Beretta, and Chuck Taylor, Ricky Ramone, and a very evil, very mysterious partner. Now I must say this match right here was this was this tag team match was fine for what it was. The Best Friends come to the ring with only 4 men. Beretta starts the bout with Solo and gains the upper hand. Beretta and Ramiro continues to control the action, and they triple team Lee Johnson and Marshall. The Factory takes control and they mock Best Friend's signature hug. Camarado overpowers Beretta and sends him to the outside with a nasty Irish whip. Trent Beretta rallies and attacks Cassidy, who draws from the power of his pants pocket and kicks Camarado. Freshly squeezed drops Solo and Lee Johnson with a double hurricanrana. Cassidy slams QT Marshall's head into the turnbuckles and hits a diving crossbody. The Factory regains the advantage and overwhelms Cassidy. Beretta and Taylor fight back, and Moreno takes Mariro um, Romero takes Camarado down. Lee Johnson drops Romero with a blue thunderbomb. Cassidy plants Lee Johnson with a tornado DDT. QT Marshall grounds Cassidy, but he's distracted by the arrival of Don Hansen, who comes to the ring with new dark music. Okay, um, he tags in and takes the fight to QT Marshall. He drops Carter with a suplex and dishes one out to Lee Johnson. Cassidy drills Camarado with a orange punch, and Don Hansen gives him a mouthful of teeth, and he then kicks Camarado and pins him. The winner of the match, the Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, Trent Beretta, and Chuck Taylor, Ricky Romero, and Don Hansen. This 10-man tag team match was fine for what it was. The Best Friend sends QT Marshall back into the ring, and Don Hansen hits him with a spike. Best Friends and Romero hug him. Konosuke Takeshita comment on signing with AEW and says his dream has come true. Alright, so we get an AEW title eliminator tournament semifinals. Brian Cage versus Ricky Starks. This was a solid match. Cage takes the fight to Starks and targets his injured ribs. The match builds out of the ring, and Cage slams Starks into the apron. Starks kicks Cage, but the machine continues to use his power advantage to ground Starks. The powerhouse continues to hone, hone in on Stark's ribs. Starks rallies with a fury of offense. Cage catches a diving Starks and plants him with a backbreaker. Starks fires back with a DDT. He continues to weapon X into a pin attempt for a 2 count. Starks drills Cage with a spear for a 2 count. Cage gets a 2 count with a disgust lariat. Cage goes for a diving elbow drop, but Starks moves. Starks catches Cage with a destroyer and hits the Washambo for the win. The winner of the match, Ricky Starks. This was a solid match. Ethan Page stares Starks down after the match. The new trailer for AEW Fight Forever plays. In an interview, Eddie Kingston is clearly emotional ahead of his match with Jun Akiyama. So we get Eddie Kingston versus Jun Akiyama. This match was too quick. Kingston and Akiyama filled each other out, but I'm sorry, Kingston and Akiyama filled each other out, and the bout is a stalemate early on. They battle for positioning, and Kingston chops Akiyama. They trade blows, and both men refuse to go down. Kingston dumps Akiyama to the outside with a right hand. Akiyama drops Kingston with a DDT on the apron and stomps his head. He continues to ground Kingston. The Mad King fires up with some stiff blows and hits a superplex. He drops Akiyama repeatedly and dumps him on his head with a half and half suplex. They trade exploder suplexes. Akiyama takes control, but Kingston spikes him with a DDT. Kingston hits a back fist for a 2 count. Akiyama suplex Kingston. The Mad King gets a 2 count with a Northern Lights bomb. Kingston scores the win with another back fist. The winner of the match, Eddie Kingston. Um, this was a um, this was a quick match. Kingston is overcome with emotions after the match. He shakes hands with Akiyama and they hug. Kingston gets a microphone and thanks the fans for coming. He thanks Akiyama and says he hopes he made great like Antonio and Inoki proud. He then tells everyone to order the pay-per-view. Alright, let's move on. Alright, so we get the main show. So we get a steel cage match. Luchasaurus with Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy. Alright, this match. This was a good match. Jungle Boy starts on offense with some strikes. He bounces off the cage ball and kicks Luchasaurus. The big man drops him with a big boot and slams him into the steel. He grinds Perry's head into the cage wall, and the fan favorite is busted open. Luchasaurus continues to dominate and gets a 2 count with a sidewalk slam. He throws Jungle Boy into the cage wall. Luchasaurus eats a clothesline and tosses Perry into the steel cage again. Perry locks in an armbar, but Luchasaurus slams him off the top rope. The big man slams Jungle Boy again for a 2 count. Christian Cage grabs the key for the door to unlock it. Security officials SYOP spot Cage and drags him away. Luchasaurus attacks him outside of the cage, and Jungle Boy kicks his former partner. Luchasaurus launches Jungle Boy into the cage. Luchasaurus gets Perry back in the cage. He tosses 2 chairs and a table into the ring. Perry rallies with 2 drop kicks. He kicks Luchasaurus in the cage wall. Luchasaurus sends him skyward with a back body drop on the apron. Jungle Boy hits a destroyer for a 2 count. He nails Luchasaurus with a chair and gets a 2 count with a kill switch. Luchasaurus slams him into the steel chair. Perry hits a avalanche slice bread. Luchasaurus sits up Jungle Boy and does too. The big man drops his full with a headbutt. He yells at Jungle Boy to stay down. Jungle Boy keeps fighting and hits a power driver for a 2 count. Luchasaurus hits a power driver for his own and slams Perry to the mat. Perry locks in a sleeper hold and places Luchasaurus on a table. He hits his opponent with a chair and climbs to the top of the cage, where he leaps off and hits a diving elbow through a table, and then makes Luchasaurus tap to the snare trap. All right, and the winner of the match, Jungle Boy, Jack Perry. That match was good. So we get an AEW Trios Championship Death Triangle, Penta Zero, Ray Phoenix and Pac versus the Elite, Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson. This match, this match was pretty good. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks enter to carry on my wayward son and get a big pop. Kenny Omega and Pac start off the match and trade some fast-paced offense. Ray Phoenix and Jackson exchange counters and kicked the Bucks super kick Ray Phoenix as the Elite gains the upper hand. The Young Bucks dive onto Pac on the outside. Kenny Omega goes to slam Penta, but Pac kicks his knee. He grounds Kenny Omega as Death Triangle takes control. Kenny Omega attacks Matt Jackson with suplexes his opponent. The Lucha Brothers double team Matt. Death Triangle continues to isolate Matt, but he slams Ray Phoenix to the mat. Nick Jackson tags in and clears house with a fury of offense. He drops Pac with a bulldog. Nick Jackson takes the Lucha Brothers down and tags in Kenny Omega. He drills Pac with a kick. Kenny Omega dumps Pac with a Snapdragon suplex. Matt Jackson spikes Ray Phoenix with a DDT on the apron. Nick Jackson drops Penta with a hurricane onto everyone else at ringside. Kenny Omega goes for the V trigger, but Pac counters with a released German suplex. He kicks Kenny Omega and Death Triangle hit triple tombstones. Pac hits the Black Arrow and locks in the brutalizer on Kenny Omega, but the hold gets broken up. The Lucha Brothers dives onto the Young Bucks at ringside. Ray Phoenix tags in and rocks Kenny Omega with a stomp to abdomen. Pac tosses Ray Phoenix a bell hammer, and Ray Phoenix refused to use it. Kenny Omega hits the V trigger and the Tiger Driver 98 for Tiger Driver for a Tiger Driver 98 for a 2 count. Penta dishes out Sling Blade, but the Elite takes him down with triple super kick. They hit the BTE trigger for a near fall. Nick Jackson stops Pac from using the bell hammer on Kenny Omega. Matt Jackson downs on Tupac and Penta at ringside. Ray Phoenix finally takes the hammer from Pac and hits Kenny Omega with it, doing a one-winged angel attempt for the pin. The winner is still your AEW Trios champion, Death Triangle, Penta L0, Ray Phoenix, and Pac. Okay, that match was pretty good. All right, that's it. Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. All right, TBS champion Jade Cargill versus Jade Cargill versus Nyla Rose. This is the worst match of the night. This match was terrible. Nyla Rose, Vicky Guerrero, and Shafir enter in a low rider as an apparent tribute to Eddie Guerrero. Nyla Rose takes a cheap shot at Hogan at ringside. Cargill gains an early advantage and sends Nyla Rose spilling to the floor. She hits a pump kick that sends Nyla Rose into the crowd. Nyla Rose takes control as the match returns to the ring, and she gets a 2 count with a splash. Jade Cargill catches Nyla Rose with a boot to the face. Nyla Rose counters a dive from Cargill and plants her with a net breaker. Nyla Rose hits a diving knee drop while Cargill is hung up on the ropes. Cargill hits a beast bomb for a 2 count. Nyla Rose counters Jade and hits Jade Cargill with her own finisher for a 2 count. Jade Cargill hits another pump kick and gets the win with Jaded. The winner is still your TBS champion, Jade Cargill. This was the worst match of the night, and this match was terrible. Alright, so we get ROH World Championship. Chris Jericho versus Sammy Guevara versus Bryan Danielson versus Claudio Cascanoy. This was the best. This was the best. This was the match of the night. This was the best match. This was the best match of the night right here, throughout the entire card right here. Cascano and Danielson take the fight to Guerrero and Jericho. Danielson dives onto Guerrero on the outside. The two Blackpool Combat Club members double team Jericho and Guerrero, and they counter. They continue to control the action. Cascano and Danielson turn on each other and start battling it out. Jericho sneaks back in and briefly takes control, but the stablemate locks in a double Boston Crab. Guerrero breaks up the hole with a diving cutter. Casanova gets sent to the outside, leaving Danielson on his own. Jericho and Guerrero double team Danielson. The Spanish guy targets Bryan Danielson's eye, as does Jericho. Jericho tells Guerrero to stand by while he goes for a pin. Seemingly frustrated, his stablemate Danielson fires up with a series of strikes. He kicks Guerrero and Jericho. Guerrero flips around and hits a Spanish fly. Jericho hits a line saw on both Jericho and Guerrero. Cascanoy hits a gut wrench slam on Jericho and stomps him for a 2 count. Jericho catches Cascanoy with a codebreaker, but Guerrero breaks up the pin. They argue, and Guerrero unloads with a series of strikes. Guerrero hits the codebreaker for a 2 count. Jericho counters an attempt at the walls of Jericho, and the champion locks it in for himself. Jericho puts Danielson in the walls, but Cascanoy breaks it up. Danielson and Cascanoy lock in a double submission, but Guerrero breaks it up. Guerrero blindsides Jericho with the GTH and hits a shooting star press for a 2 count. Guerrero hits Danielson with some elbow, but the veteran no sell is and it slaps him. Cascanoy presses Guerrero and throws him into Jericho on the outside. Danielson blasts Cascanoy with a running knee for a 2 count. Cascanoy gets a 2 count with a lariat. Guerrero drops Cascanoy with a avalanche cutter. Danielson counters a Spanish fly into the Libel lock, but Jericho breaks it up. Cascanoy plants Danielson with the neutralizer on the floor. Guerrero hits a shooting star press onto the floor. Cascanoy swings Guerrero, but Jericho hits a leaping elbow effect. He hits another Judas for the win. Alright, the winner and still your ROH World Champion Chris Jericho. That fatal 4-way match was the best match. Was the best match of the night. All right, so we get Saraya versus. I'm sorry, Saraya versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. This match was not bad. This was not a bad match. I must say, this was not a bad match. Saraya and Dr. Britt Baker did their thing, but like I said, this was not a bad match. Baker controls the action early on and dominates the opening minutes. She targets Saraya's neck repeatedly and even tries to strangle her. Saraya slams Baker onto the apron and hits a diving crossbody off the apron. Baker and Saraya trade blows. Saraya gains the upper hand and stomps Baker in the corner. She slams Baker and gets a 2 count. Baker goes for the lockjaw, but Saraya reaches the ropes. Baker gets a 2 count with an air crush. She stomps Saraya for another 2 count. Saraya hits a sunset flip powerbomb for a 2 count, and the rampage for a 2 count. Baker takes Saraya down and goes for the lockjaw, but Saraya turns it into a pin attempt for a 2 count. She kicks Baker and drills her with a knee to the head. Saraya hits another knee strike and another rampage. She hits it yet again for the win. The winner of the match, Saraya. Soraya. This match was not that bad, but Paige and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD did their thing. So this was not a bad match. All right, let's move on. Soraya hugs her brother after the match. All right, so we get AEW TNT Championship Rollo versus Powerhouse Hobbs. I'm sorry, AEW TNT Championship match Rollo versus Powerhouse Hobbs versus Samoa Joe. This match was decent. The three powerhouse started wagging war right away as the action spills out of the ring. Hobbs suplex Waller in the ring. Joe hits Hobbs, but the former Team Taz member drills him with an elbow. Hobbs dumps Joe with a suplex and controls the match early on. Waller dives off the top rope and takes both of his opponent down. He hits Hobbs with a swanton bomb. Joe rocks Hobbs with a running boot in a corner. Warlow slams Hobbs and draws Joe with a spine buster. Samoa Joe dives on to both of his opponents on the outside. Hobbs tackles Joe into the barricade. He gets a 2 count with a spine buster on Warlow. The champion powerballs Hobbs multiple times. Samoa Joe sneaks in and hits Warlow with the title. He then chokes out Hobbs for the win. The winner and your new TNT champion, Samoa Joe. Now Samoa Joe holds holds 2 belts now. So Samoa Joe holds 2 belts now. But the winner and your new TNT champion, Samoa Joe. Alright, that match was quick. Alright. Tony Schiavone is backstage with Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. When asked, Jericho says he and Guerrero simply clash in the spirit of competition. Orange Cassidy interrupts and says Tomohiro Ashi wants to challenge Jericho for the title. Jericho fires back by saying it's Ashi used to get him coffee and shine his shoes when he was in Japan. He seemingly accepted the challenge. Hager asked Cassidy what was in the bag, and he took his All-Atlantic champion out. They seemingly agreed to a match. Okay, so we get no count on no disqualification. Sting versus Darby Allin. Sting and Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. I'm not saying the match was bad, but at the same time, I just didn't care. And yeah, Jeff Jarrett brings some fake Sting with him to the ring. Darby Allin attacks Lethal through the fog of smoke during his entrance. Sting pops up behind Jarrett. Sting attacks the last outlaw before he and Darby Allin switch opponents. The fight spills into the crowd, and Darby Allin suplexes Jarrett on the floor. Darby Allin goes for a coffin drop off the ladder, but Stano Sonar catches him. He carries Darby Allin and slams him into the ramp. Sting dives off a balcony and onto a group of his opponents. Jerry grounds Darby Allin and floors him with a clothesline. Sting tags in and clears house. He traps Jeff Jarrett in the Scorpion Deathlight, but Stein breaks it up and chokeslams him. Jay Lethal hits Darby Allin with the lethal combination. Alright, Jeff Jarrett gets his guitar and Jay Lethal holds Darby Allin up, but Darby Allin avoids the guitar shot. Jeff Jarrett blasts Darby Allin with the guitar, doing a coffin drop attempt. Darby Allin fires up and unloads with a series of strikes. Sting takes Sanjay Dutt down with an elbow. Sting and Darby Allin double team sign. Darby Allin dives onto Jeff Jarrett onto the outside. Sting counters the lethal injection into the Scorpion Death Drop. Darby Allin gets the pin with the coffin drop. The winner of the match, Sting and Darby Allin. This match I ain't really care about. But the match was not bad, but at the same time I just did not care. Let's move on. Alright. So we get the AEW Intern Women's World Championship. Toni Storm versus Jamie Hayter. This match was This match was boring. This was a boring match. Storm and Hater fill each other out, and they're evenly matched early on. The champion hits a hip attacking, sending Jamie Hader to the outside. She slams Hader into the barricade onto the apron. Jamie Hader dives Storm into the barricade. Storm bounces Jamie Hader head off in the ring post. Jamie Hader slams Storm into the barricade again. Back in the ring, she suplexes Storm and transitions into a slam. Jamie Hader grounds Storm, but the champion rallies. She hits a diving crossbody for a 2 count. Storm gets a 2 count with a DDT. Jamie Hader and Storm trade blows, but both women are down after a headbutt. Reba comes to ringside as the two competitors keep trading shots. Reba hits Storm with the title, and Jamie Hader gets a near fall with the lariat. The referee ejects Reba from ringside. Storm counters a hitter, the hitter, and hits a lariat for her own for a 2 count. Baker runs down and stomps Storm on the title belt. Jamie Hader hits the Storm Zero for a 2 count. Storm suplex Hader and hits the Storm Zero for a 2 count. Jamie Hader gets another 2 count with a backbreaker. Baker tries to interfere, and Jamie Hader accidentally collide with her. Still, Jamie Hader pins Storm by slamming her into an exposed turnbuckle and hitting a lariat. The winner and your new AEW Interim Women's World Champion, Jamie Hader. This match was boring, but congratulations to Jamie Hader. But the match itself was boring. All right, so we get the AEW World Tag Team Champion, AEW World Tag Team Champions. The Acclaim versus Swerve and Our Glory, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. This tag team match was good. Good tag team match. Bowens and Caster drive Lee out of the ring, and Bowens seemingly hurt his injured shoulder. He fights through it and takes an early advantage. Lee tags in and overpowers Anthony Bowens, and Swerve Strickland slams Caster into the barricade. Strickland brings a steel barricade to the ringside area. He goes for a suplex, Bowens onto it. But the latter reverse with a suplex of his own. Lee lifts Bowens by his injured arm. He darts onto the arm with a splash and continues to target. Strickland tags in and stomps the arm. Andy Bones takes Keith Lee down with a reverse hurricanrana. Max Caster tags in and gains the upper hand with a one-man fury of offense. He dives onto Strickland at ringside. Caster hits a leg drop. Andy Bones tags in and gets a 2 count with a cutter. Anthony Bones drop kicks Strickland, and Max Caster hits a crossbody on Keith Lee, sending him crashing through the steel barricade. Anthony Bones gets a 2 count with a DDT. Swerve Strickland drills Anthony Bones with a kick. He hits another kick and yet another for a 2 count. Anthony Bones evades the swerve stomp and hits the arrival. Caster hits the mic drop, but Keith Lee breaks up the pin. Keith Lee tags in and flattens Max Caster with 2 clotheslines before he throws him across the ring. Keith Lee pounds Anthony Bones, and he lands on his shoulder. Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee hit the stomp/powerbomb combination for a 2 count. Keith Lee powerbombs Max Caster onto Anthony Bones. Swerve Strickland gets some pliers determined to do the same damage, but Billy Gunn makes the save. Billy Gunn gets ejected. Swerve Strickland tells Keith Lee to use the pliers, and he doesn't. Swerve Strickland slaps Keith Lee, and the big man walks away from his partner. The Acclaim takes control and slams Strickland for the win. The winner and still your AEW World Tag Team Champions, The Acclaim. That was a good tag team match. Alright, so we get the main event of the evening. AEW World Championship. John Moxley, accompanied by William Regal versus MJF. The main event match was boring, but the ending was fantastic. Moxley hits MJF in the face, and the challenger slams him. The the proverbial of violence grinds MJF's face into the ropes and bites him. MJF fights back and mocks John Moxley with a strut. He sends Moxley to the outside and runs the ropes as he plays to the crowd. And Moxley pushes MJF into the corner and bites him. MJF stomps Moxley in the corner, but the champion levels him with the clothesline. He drills MJF with some forearms to the face. Moxley locks in an armbar, but MJF escapes. The champion continues to maintain the advantage. MJF spits something into Moxley's face. Moxley slams him into the steel steps. The match returns to the ring, and both men are down after a clothesline. MJF hits Moxley with a series of strikes. MJF slams Moxley's head into the turnbuckle. He sets up a table at ringside, but Moxley drops him when they cutter when he gets back into the ring. Moxley stomps MJF. The challenger hits a power driver on the apron. Moxley drops MJF with a power driver through the table. MJF barely avoids getting counted out, and Moxley drops him with a Paragon Shift for a 2 count. MJF traps Moxley in a figure 4, but Moxley reverses the pressure and escapes. MJF gets a 2 count with the heat seeker. Moxley drops MJF with a chop block and targets his leg. MJF crunches Moxley on the ropes. But Moxley hits an avalanche Paragon Shift. MJF reaches the ropes to break up the pin. Moxley and MJF trade blows. MJF pulls the referee into Moxley's path when the champion ran at him. MJF gets the dynamite diamond ring and thinks about using it. Regal tells him to put it down. MJF does. Moxley sneaks up behind MJF and goes for a choke, but MJF counters it into a pin attempt. Moxley kicks out and goes for the choke again, but the replacement referee gets bumped. MJF taps and the referee doesn't see it. Regal slides his brass knuckles to MJF, who blasts Moxley with them. MJF then pins Moxley to win the match and the title. Alright. The winner and your new AEW World Champion, MJF. Alright. And AEW Full Gear goes up there. But like I said before, the main event match was boring, but the ending was fantastic. And I do not have a problem with MJF winning the AEW World Champion. That's all I gotta say from here. But anyway, overall, AEW Full Gear was a good show, and I give it an 8 out of 10. And yeah, that's all I gotta say from there. But anyway, if you guys enjoy my AEW Full Gear review and highlights, please give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below what are your thoughts on AEW Full Gear. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please hit that subscribe button. Turn on post notifications when I premiere a brand new video at 3 o'clock Eastern time on my YouTube channel. Find out my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, my TikTok, and Twitch, and Discord down below in the description. And yeah, and tomorrow at maybe 8 o'clock. Yeah, tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I will be going live on YouTube on 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So I'll see you guys. I will see you guys live on my live stream at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So that's all I gotta say from here. But anyway, this your boy B-Boy Fast Giant TV. Have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. KFG crew, KFG Kings, Too Sweet. I'm out of here. Gang.